Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back with another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I want to be talking about the #1 tip, in my opinion, to become absolutely unstoppable in Fortnite. And there's a lot of tips I've given on this channel, and there's a lot of really good tips. But I believe this one tip specifically is going to help you guys out a ton. I mean, a ton in Fortnite. It is a building tip. So I'm going to be talking about exactly how to do that tip in different scenarios that you want to use it in and why it's so effective in those scenarios. And before we get into the video, I have another V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and as well subscribe to my second channel. I will have a link for that in the description below, or check the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so I've talked about a lot of really good tips, and tips specifically for Season 7, because in Season 7 there was a lot of changes to the game, like redeployer gliders taken out of the game. That was kind of late Season 6. But going into Season 7, there was a lot of changes. There's turrets, dynamite, so there's a lot of things that you have to consider when going for the win in this game, and different things in general like that. But in this video specifically, I want to be talking about a building tip that I really think if you guys can learn this tip and have it down really well, then you're going to be able to win a lot more gunfights quicker and more efficient, and as well in your build fights, being able to take out the other player much quicker than you have previously. So here's the one tip that I wanted to show you guys in this video. And when it comes to building in Fortnite, the situation that I'm talking about, the situation that you want to use this in, is in a situation where you're ramped up one higher than the other player. So the other player is ramping up towards you, but they're not quite up. You're one ramp above them, and you never want to get really stuck in the situation where they have the one ramp above you, because once you have the one ramp above them, then you're going to have a major advantage, because if you're on this downward angle and they have the ramp above you, you can do a few things. I mean, you can build out and try to ramp up, but it could be a little bit risky, especially if they're ready for it and they have traps out. So you really don't want to come in that situation. So if you can get your ramp out in front of the other player, you're going to have a major advantage in that gunfight. And from the other person's perspective, most of the time when you're going up a better than average or a pretty good player, most of the time they're going to go for that cone every single time. So they're going to go for the cone above you and then put the walls up, try to go for the trap kill. For me, when I'm fighting these type of players, me personally, I think it's very obvious that they're going to go for it, and it's very predictable. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to outplay this. And one of the things that I used to do a ton is I would go for the edit right away. I would cut the stairs in half and go for the shot immediately, which that isn't really that bad of an idea, but I have a better suggestion and a better idea that you can use for the gunfight. And what that is, so you have the ramp above them, and instead of going for the edit player, you cut it in half and drop down. But what you want to do instead is, once you have your ramp out, you want to edit it, and you want to edit it towards you so it flips the ramp. And once it flips the ramp, ultimately what you want to do is you want to break that ramp off. And once you do that, I'm going to show you guys from their perspective what that's going to look like. So say they're below you, they cone you, they trap you. And so if you're from this perspective over here and you have the edit, once you go for the edit play, everything breaks. So it doesn't matter if they try to cone you, try to put walls up, as long as you make that edit, it's going to break every single time, unless it's connected to something else. So more times than not, and in that situation, it's not going to be. But so once you pull it back and it breaks, it literally breaks everything. And like I was talking about earlier, when you cut the ramp in half, it's really not that bad of an idea. But if you want to go for that, or if you want to go for a play like that, you have to do it as soon as you put that ramp down, you have to go for the play. Otherwise, it can get a little bit risky, because they could have their traps up, or they could be ready for it. So there's two ways to break it. I mean, you can break it, going either side, or you can just go up and down. But unless you're on PC and you can edit really fast or adjust your aim quickly, it's just better if you pull it from the top down. Because if you go from the sides, what you have to do is you have to go from left to right, and then you have to drag your crosshair, drag your stick all the way over to go straight again. And it's really just a pain, and you're going to miss your shots a lot more. It can be a little bit confusing. It still is fast, but it's going to throw your aim off a ton, so I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. But the best way really is to just flip the ramp, and once you flip the ramp, you're already going to be looking forward. You don't have to turn it all. So it's much faster, and after you edit, you're going to be a lot more accurate. One thing that this does a ton is catches a lot of people off guard, and especially when they go for the cone above. So a lot of players, a lot of better players, like I've said earlier, they're going to go for the cone every single time. It's just what they do. Because if you're going against a player who isn't that much experienced or really isn't that good of a builder, once you put that cone up, you're going to have a trap kill 9 times out of 10. It's going to be a very easy kill and a very flashy kill to get. But if you're going up against a better player, and so they go for the cone, and once you flip the ramp, it's going to break everything. And on top of that, they're going to have their map out, so that wall is going to break. They're going to have no idea what happened, because a lot of players don't actually do this strategy, which means if you do it to someone in game, a lot of times they're not even going to be ready for it, because they've never seen it before. They didn't realize it was going to break. And that's really one thing you have to do if you want to get better at this game, is you have to understand the mechanics of the game. You have to understand how things work. And a lot of players, they just really don't know how things work. So once you break that ramp in half, they don't even know that's going to break everything, that they can't cone you, they can't trap you. So it's going to give you that huge advantage, and you're going to be winning a lot more gunfights. And as well, I do this a ton in build fights. It catches people off guard all the time, especially if I'm using traps. A lot of times in 1v1s, I prefer not to use traps, because a lot of times you have like 30 traps and you can just spam it everywhere, and I don't really like that. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But if I am using traps, a lot of times eventually they're not even gonna go for it anymore, because they know as soon as I throw up that ramp, I'm gonna edit it right back down, and they're not gonna be able to trap me at all. So eventually people are gonna stop going for it, and that's because they understand what's happening. And when you're going to public matches, and most of the players you're running against aren't going to be, top tier sweaty players, they're going to be, average at best. And a lot of players are going to be running into, you're going to be able to pull that off pretty consistently and get a lot of kills from it. Believe me, I do it almost every single game if I get that situation. So I used to just go for the edit where I cut it in half. And it's really not a bad idea, but you have to do it right away. And after you do it, it can be a little bit hard to track the other player you're going against. And just hitting your shot, it could just be a little bit confusing. So I would definitely say that's a little bit more of a flashy kind of move, because it is a little bit harder to see, and you're going to have to hit a flick shot most of the time. But the reason why flipping the ramp is so good is because you go and edit it straight every single time. And once you edit it straight, it's a lot quicker, it's a lot faster. And this is one of those things that once you guys practice it a little bit, it's really going to be quick, and you don't have to think about it at all. And right after you go for the edit play, because you edit it straight, your shots are going to be straight, so you don't have to flick shot at all, so your shot's going to be 10 times more accurate. I mean 10 times more accurate. You're going to be missing a lot less shots, and as well, they're going to have their map out, so you're going to have a free shot on them. So overall, this is a really good tip, and if you guys don't already use this tip, or ever tried it, or ever seen it, definitely something that I would recommend putting it into your gameplay, because it's really going to help you guys out in your build fights, or just any fights in general, because learning all the mechanics in this game when it comes to building is really going to set you apart and going to make you even better of a player. Because they really didn't start until recently. I really understood the mechanics and see how things connected. So pretty much I can get out of a lot of situations when it comes to building, because before I really didn't understand how things connected. And once I figured out how a lot of things connected, or how a lot of builds connect, why it breaks, why it doesn't, once I figured all of those things out, I've been able to dominate a lot more in playgrounds. I've taken a lot less fall damage because I understand how to get down faster. And on top of that, I've understood how to use mats more efficiently, because there's a lot of things you do in playgrounds and creative that you wouldn't do in actual game, because you always want to try to conserve mats as much as possible. So when it comes to these builds or different type of builds, you understand how to use builds more efficiently, so you're not burning through mats every single time. There's a lot of builds that I see a lot of players do that, they're just constantly running through hundreds of mats at a time just for one fight, and you always want to try to fight the other player, try to get the kill as quick as possible, because you always want to try to get the kill with taking the least amount of damage and as well using the least amount of mats. And that's especially important in that early game, because in that early game you're not going to have a lot of mats. So if you burn through a ton, if you burn through like 200 on the first guy you run into, guaranteed you're not going to have any, absolutely none for the second player you run into. And it's really going to cost you, because you need mats in this game to live. And one last point that I want to touch on, I kind of mentioned it earlier when it comes to shooting and why I recommend it a lot. And once you go for the edit, your shot's going to be straight every single time, because it's just an edit. And if you want to be more accurate off your shots when it comes to after the edit, or maybe just be more accurate in general, you want to stop flicking your shots as much as possible, because of course sometimes, because I'm on a lower sensitivity, if someone's all the way to my right tries to shoot at me, then of course I'm going to go for that flick shot. but you want to try to avoid flick shots as much as possible, because when it comes to flick shots, it's almost like a guess and check or a spray. You know, you're really not going to be able to know exactly where they are, and it's kind of down to muscle memory. And a lot of times you're going to be able to pick off those shots, but at the same time, if you want to be as accurate as you possibly can, you always want to try to be able to shoot straight and not flick around. You always want to try to be as consistent as possible and aim as straight as possible. And with that being said, that'll wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope this video helped you guys improve your building or improve in Fortnite. And if you guys could, drop a like in this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications. You're notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.